everyone, it's Tim with Collect Jurassic. I'm here with a bite-sized review. It's been a while since I've done one of these. For those unfamiliar, this is sort of my shorter format review series versus my longer 4K in-depth review, but going over all the same stuff. We'll be talking about the packaging, we'll be talking about the figure itself, we'll be doing comparisons, all that stuff for this awesome new toy, and that is the massive biter Albertosaurus from Mattel, one of the new figures released under the Primal Attack subline. I'm very excited about this one. The Albertosaurus figure as a whole, this isn't the first one we've seen, but as a whole, I love this figure, so any new version is super exciting, and we'll do some comparisons with the other versions of the figure once we get this thing out of the box. So let's get to it. As you can see in the packaging, it's got that nice Primal Attack background, you know, the Primal Attack branding, all that good stuff, a little preview of the action you can do with the button, and then also the back kind of goes more in depth into what you can do with the Primal Attack. It's all kind of you know, constrained to the tail with that biting action and everything. And you can also see the other figure in the series, the Sarcosuchus, which I will definitely be reviewing that one as well. But that's the figure in the box, but I'm excited to get this thing out. I was thinking that I could unclip it, but it looks like it's a little bit more in depth. It looks like I have to actually unscrew the feet from the base, which is always fun, and I'm being totally sarcastic. It's not fun at all. Let me do this hopefully rather quickly on camera. Boom, that was quick. Oh, and it's still looks like it's secured in one place, so that's my snip. All right, and Albertosaurus is free, so I'm going to go ahead and put the packaging off to the side. But that is Albertosaurus, the new massive biter version, out of the box, right off the bat. You know, like I've already said, I love this figure anyway, but this new massive biter version has a couple notable differences, which is like this right here, this sort of unmarked torso. I'll get another battle damage version of the figure in the frame just so we can see. Obviously the battle damage version had some battle damage right here, and the battle damage for that was always one of my favorites, with the bones and the like squishy organ inside. But you know, with this new version of the figure, you don't have that battle damage. You just have a can't get my battle damage close. You just have that nice smooth torso. There are a couple trade-offs, kind of losing that battle damage, which I'll get to. But yeah, I mean, this version of the figure, that's probably the most notable difference besides that Primal Attack action. But before I get to that, I want to talk about the coloration on this one. I just love the green. It's you know, early photos of this made it look really weird looking. It looked very like overly saturated, but seeing it in the flesh, you know, collectors will see when they actually get their hands on it, it's actually way more muted and way more attractive looking. And then you also have this splash of color going down the sides too. So that's pretty cool coloration wise. Articulation wise, great articulation on this figure. We have legs that look like they move in tandem versus independently, which is pretty common with the Primal Attack, because it's they want you to plant the figure and do the Primal Attack action. The arms have articulation, they rotate and are on a hinge, and then the mouth is tied to the action feature, which is kind of a bummer because the other versions of the figures, you know, you can open and close the mouth. You know, it's articulated. You don't have to, you know, press a button. You can pose it however you want, which is always nice for toy photographers. But again, I will bring those other figures in here in a second. Let's do that Primal Attack action. Again, it's with the tail. I love Primal Attack because it lets you do some really natural movements with the figures. I think that it's got to be a lot of fun for kids. Certainly fun for this adult collector. Then you also have that button on the tail that lets you close the jaw. What's funny about this jaw closing, at least on the figure I have, is like you can close it like real far, so he almost looks like he has an overbite. It's kind of funny, like, you know, this other version of the figure, the jaw only closes so far, but this guy you can kind of close it there, and you can close it even further, give him like a real serious underbite. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that Primal Attack action feature is just really smooth on this guy. Obviously no electronics, it's just the movement. It's just that head movement and the mouth button. So pretty simplistic, a lot like the Tarbosaurus, the massive biter figure that came before this. But yeah, kind of comparing it to the other versions we have. Of course, I already talked about the first battle damage version, Albertosaurus, that came out a couple years ago. You know, it's got a pretty tame paint job, pretty muted, pretty natural. I love this version of Albertosaurus that we got last year. It was a little harder to find, but it was the another battle damage version. It didn't come out here in the US, but it was out in Canada and a few other places. It has the same battle damage and all that stuff. And then, of course, we have this new Albertosaurus, the new massive biter Albertosaurus. And honestly, they all look great together. They look like a hunting party. I'm super stoked to get outside with the camera and take some photos of all these figures together because, you know, one more Albertosaurus totally completed the look. And I could not be happier, you know, with this newer figure and kind of how it's different than the others. I mean, even the pattern on it is different than the other two figures. It's cool. It's just a new version that's totally worth kind of having because it is so different, and it'll be more widely available for a lot of collectors, being that it's not battle damage and that it's massive biter instead. So I think that's all I have to say about this lovely massive biter Albertosaurus. Again, I picked them up at Target. They should be showing up in more stores soon. So happy hunting with that. And I think that's all I got for today. So I'm Tim. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.